Hello, this is Josh Clark with this week's episode of Overcomers. Today I'm excited about our topic, and it's be a fountain and not a drain. And this really comes from a point of reflection for me, where I was talking with people who I love, like my kids, people in my life, and I was saying, what am I? Do I bring energy? Do I bring positivity? Or how do I affect the mood around me? And it really has been a point of kind of awakening for me, because I realized that just because, throughout many periods of my life, I've been known as, and it's been said of me throughout the years, and I'm thankful for this, that, Josh brings energy, he brings life, he elevates a mood, he elevates a room. But what I realized is that sometimes we can go through different periods where we're not being that. And, the reality is different than maybe what our perception is. And as I was asking my kids, what can I do to bring more life into our home? What can I do to improve, make things more fun? And what I realized is as simple as deciding that I'm going to walk in a room and be a life giver, not just, at work, but at home, not just around friends. But I was even realizing, to be honest with you, that it was affecting, that I was starting to be more of a drain than a fountain. And I would let periods where I had high stress or a lot of pressure on me, I was letting it get to me. And no, I wasn't yelling at people. You don't have to yell at people to be a drain. I wasn't elevating a room. I wasn't bringing life. And it also hit me when my brother-in-law said about me on a surfing trip with my oldest son and him this past summer. He said, "Man, you are so much fun." He said, when you don't have so much pressure on you. And so I've been thinking about this, and then recently I was given a book called Taking the Lead by Dave Alpern. And in it, again, he has a chapter, and it's titled, Be a Fountain, Not a Drain. And he talked about how when certain people would walk into his office, he could see them coming through the glass window. And certain people, it'd be like, kind of brace yourself. This one's going to be a drainer. This is going to be tough. Whereas others would come, you see them walking by, and it just elevates your mood before they've even said anything or even done anything. And you kind of hop out of your chair. You're excited to greet them. And so I want to ask you, while I ask myself, are you a life giver or a life taker? Do you breathe life into the atmosphere that around you, or do you suck it right out? And the reality is it's our choice. It is our decision. And it's more important than ever that we bring life in a post-pandemic world where people are moving on, but their mindset is not necessarily moving on. Their mindset, their mood is still stuck back in this pandemic. And they need you and I to be life givers. We have 100% control. It's not our mood, whether we're a fountain or not, isn't dependent upon the circumstances around us. It doesn't have to be. We are in 100% control. I love how Paul said in Philippians, in the scriptures, in the Bible, he said, "Rejoice in the Lord always, always." And again, I say rejoice. And he said this from prison. So here's something else that hit me. In a study that was done, they found that those who are most charismatic elevate and are more of a fountain. They are mood elevators. Think about it. If one person in a bad mood can drain a room, then what happens when one person with a good mood enters a room? Well, those with more charisma elevate the room more. Makes sense, right? Here's the good news, though, is that being charismatic is something that we can grow in. And it's not something that's dependent upon, are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? In fact, there's plenty of introverts that are very charismatic. But it's our choice. What we're going to choose, again, to offer value, to leave the room better off? Are we going to choose to walk in, good morning, with a positive? And here's the good news. Not only do we, when we choose to be cheerful, charismatic, engaging, mood elevators, when we choose to do that, guess what happens? We actually enhance our own feelings of happiness. You see, when you choose to take an action, you may not feel like it, but you choose to be encouraging. The reality is that the feelings then follow. So even though I don't think we should, our mood or our charisma, I don't think should be dependent upon how we feel. But the reality is, if we choose to be cheerful, we choose to be engaging, we choose to be positive, even if we don't feel like, the mood will come around and you'll actually affect your own mood as well as everybody else in the room. Isn't that amazing? You see, in a world of me, fountains are you. See, they're not just like, I got to get through this day and grin and bear it and keep a good attitude. No, they're more than that. They are focused on not just how do they get through the day, but how do they improve your day. And that's something that, again, I'm realizing that I need to improve at. And there can be seasons where we get off of our being our best. And so I want to help you and me to overcome this. If you find yourself in a slump, it can be the difference maker can be as simple as you and I choosing to be mood elevators. So here's my challenge for you as we wrap this up. Number one, who are the fountains in your life? Number two, what are the characteristics of those fountains that cause you to say, hey, this person is a fountain. They are a mood elevator. They leave me better off than when they found me. And then number third challenge is, I want to ask you to write down what are the things that you need to grow in to be more of a fountain in your interactions, whether that's at work, at church, in the community, and most importantly, let's not take for granted those people around us. I have one son in college. I have now the rest of my children every 2 years going to be headed out. I want to make the most of every interaction. I want to make sure that they say, when they reflect back, my dad was a mood elevator. When he walked in the room, he had a lot of responsibilities and a lot of things he was serious about, right? And I want to make an impact with my life. And the reality is there are, some days have more pressure than others. But I know I can affect this by my choices. So if this has encouraged you, will you take a moment just to comment, to share, and then would you go to my podcast, which is Josh S. Clark Overcomers, and will you leave a review? That would mean so much to me, and that would encourage me as I commit to continuing to share with you my journey, the things that I'm learning, in the hopes and interviewing others in the hopes that it will encourage you as well. So let's go out there and choose to make it a super, ultra awesome, fantastic day, and let's help others have that same kind of day. All right, thank you, and God bless.